The story begins with Ryuto telling us how much he likes Runa. She's the most popular girl in school, so to him she feels completely out of reach. Yet somehow she ends up taking him to her house to do the unthinkable. But to understand how this happened, we need to go back in time. One day Runa walks up to him and asks to borrow his pen, and Ryuto can't believe someone as beautiful as her is actually talking to him. A few days later, Ryuto meets with his friends and they complain about how doomed they are for their exams. Things are so bad that they decide to make a bet. The person who gets the worst grade will have to follow a command from the one who gets the best score. Ryuto ends up getting the best grade, which ironically means he loses the challenge. Now he has to confess his feelings to the girl he likes. Ryuto already knows he'll be rejected, and he's only doing this because of his friends. Earlier, he left a note in Runa's locker, so now he's waiting for her. When Runa finally arrives, he gets extremely nervous, but he still manages to confess his feelings and tells her she's a beautiful girl. Ryuto expects to be rejected immediately, but to everyone's surprise, Runa tells him she's currently single, so they can start dating. Now they walk home together, although Ryuto can't stop wondering why she accepted him when they barely know each other. In fact, he's sure she doesn't actually like him. Runa explains that she'll get to know him until she eventually likes him. Whenever she's single, she accepts confessions just to see if things work out. However, she also admits she's had many boyfriends and she's never truly liked any of them because they always end up breaking up with her. Ryuto already knew that rumor. Apparently, every relationship she has lasts only 2 or 3 months, but nobody knows the real reason. A little later, Runa reaches her station and asks Ryuto to walk her home. Once there, she brings him to her room and leaves for a moment to get something to drink. Ryuto starts admiring how cute her room looks, but then he notices a drawer full of her clothes, and like any curious guy, he decides to take a peek. At that exact moment, Runa comes back and even offers him a better view of what he was looking at. But that's not the shocking part. Suddenly, she starts taking off her clothes because she's ready to sleep with him. Of course, Ryuto panics and asks her to stop. It turns out she didn't even feel like doing it either. She simply believes it's her duty as a girlfriend, so he won't leave her for someone else. That's when Ryuto finally understands why everyone eventually breaks up with her. Runa moves way too fast in relationships. He definitely wants to do it, but he doesn't want to be like those other guys, so he tells her they won't do anything today. Later, Runa walks him to the station, and Ryuto confesses she's his first girlfriend, so he's not going to leave her just because they didn't sleep together. He wants that moment to happen only when she truly feels ready, and not because she thinks it's her obligation as a girlfriend. Runa's really happy to hear that, and hopes that by then, their relationship will feel more genuine. The next day, Ryuto tells his friends what happened, and they immediately criticize him for not taking advantage of the opportunity. They insist Runa was just killing time with him, and that he'll never get a chance like that again. Even so, Ryuto continues the relationship, and Runa treats him incredibly well. The problem is that now many people give him strange looks, especially Yamana, Runa's best friend. Because of that, Ryuto starts feeling uncomfortable and tells Runa it might be better if they don't talk at school. Instead, he suggests they meet on weekends. Runa interprets this as an invitation for a date, so they decide to go out on Saturday. The night before the date, Ryuto still doesn't know where to take her. Right then, she calls him and asks what they're going to do tomorrow. Ryuto tells her he doesn't want to go anywhere specific. He wants to know her better, so he'd rather let Runa decide what they do. The next day, she takes him shopping. Everyone admires how beautiful she is, while Ryuto keeps thinking he's not worthy of a girlfriend like her. Still, that doesn't stop him from becoming her personal pack mule, because Runa makes him carry all her shopping bags across the mall. Later, she complains that Ryuto didn't pay attention to any of the stores. Ryuto explains it's because he was too busy admiring her beauty, which makes her blush bright red. Unfortunately, Ryuto doesn't notice it, because he believes she'll never fall in love with someone like him. To make things worse the next day, Runa suddenly stops replying to his messages, so Ryuto assumes she's already replaced him with another guy. The situation gets even worse when he sees her talking to other boys at school. At that point, he accepts that their relationship is probably over. After class that same day, Runa asks him to meet her at the station. Ryuto assumes she's going there to break up with him. Instead, she surprises him with a limited edition phone case that only one person can buy. She asked her friend to wait in line with her, so now both of them have matching cases. Runa spent the entire night waiting in line while using her phone, and eventually her battery died. That's why she couldn't reply to his messages. Ryuto's deeply moved and confesses he never imagined a girl like her would want to be his girlfriend. The fact that she waited in line all night just to give him a gift really touched his heart. Of course, Runa noticed he'd been acting strange, so Ryuto tells her about his first love. Back then, a girl kept giving him subtle looks, so he believed he had a chance. One day, he confessed his feelings and got rejected immediately. That moment destroyed his confidence around women. Runa tells him that if that girl hadn't rejected him, she wouldn't be his girlfriend today. Later, Runa tells Yamana that Ryuto liked the gift. She believes he's worth it, so she plans to keep dating him, even though Yamana still doesn't fully trust him. But things are about to get complicated. The next day, a transfer student arrives at school, and she turns out to be Maria, the same girl who rejected Ryuto. Ryuto immediately remembers his trauma, and to make things worse, Maria ends up sitting right next to him. Maria clearly remembers him, but Ryuto's terrified that people might find out what happened between them, so he decides to keep his distance to avoid questions. Suddenly, Yamana intercepts him and asks him to walk with her. Runa's a very important friend to her, so she wants to confirm whether Ryuto's serious about the relationship. Ryuto assures her he is. Then Yamana informs him that next Sunday is Runa's birthday. Because of that, Ryuto asks about Runa's interests, since he wants to give her a great present. Yamana begins giving him all kinds of information. However, during their conversation, someone secretly takes a photo of them together. That picture gets sent to Runa, so she quickly confronts Ryuto and demands an explanation. With no choice left, he tells her Yamana only wanted to inform him about her birthday. Then he takes the opportunity to suggest celebrating it together. Runa happily accepts and goes ahead to school first, since Ryuto doesn't want people seeing them together. What he truly wants is to make her happy, so he starts planning everything for her birthday. A whole week passes, and Ryuto finally takes her to one of her favorite places following Yamana's advice. He also buys her favorite tea and even explains all the ingredients it contains. Runa's shocked by how much he knows. The truth is that since he learned how much she loves tea, he studied everything about it so he could share the same interests as his girlfriend. Naturally, this makes Runa very happy. They continue visiting different places while Ryuto keeps buying her favorite drinks. At one point, he only buys a single drink and Runa offers him a small sip. Then she tells him it counts as an indirect kiss, leaving him completely red. They continue spending time together until night finally arrives. Runa looks very happy, but Ryuto apologizes because he ran out of money and couldn't buy her a proper gift. Runa tells him this day was more than enough because nobody had ever done something like that for her. That's when Ryuto shows her the real gift. It's a handmade map he created with all of her favorite places based on the information Yamana gave him. Runa thanks him from the bottom of her heart, and their date ends on a very sweet note. However, things soon take a darker turn. Rumors start spreading around school claiming Runa only uses her boyfriends for money before replacing them. People also say she never spends anything during dates. Ryuto starts feeling like someone's intentionally spreading those rumors. Even Yamana wonders who could be responsible. The next day, Maria starts acting very friendly toward Ryuto, and even leaves her book behind on purpose just to get closer to him. Then she apologizes for rejecting him in the past. She claims that at the time, she didn't understand romance, but now she realizes he's actually special. Unfortunately for her, Ryuto says he's not interested because he already has a girlfriend. However, he refuses to reveal who she is because he fears people will mock Runa for dating someone like him. Later, he sees Runa talking with another boy and secretly listens to their conversation. The guy asks her out, but Runa tells him she already has a boyfriend. Nobody knows about it because they haven't made it public yet. The boy assumes her boyfriend must be a loser and that she's embarrassed to reveal him, but Runa firmly says she doesn't care what anyone thinks. Their relationship is secret only because her boyfriend asked for it. Those words make Ryuto reflect for a moment. Then Maria interrupts him and starts repeating all the rumors about Runa. She even claims a friend of hers dated Runa and that she only used him for money before dumping him. Ryuto immediately defends Runa and says she's the perfect girlfriend. Maria asks how he could possibly know that. With everyone watching and no other option left, Ryuto shouts that he's Runa's boyfriend. Nobody believes him at first, but then Runa confirms it herself, and the girls immediately assume the rumors must have been false after all. Right then, Maria runs away, and Ryuto decides to follow her. That's when he discovers that Runa is actually her twin sister. The reason they don't look alike is because they have different fathers. Ever since they were little, Runa has always been very outgoing, while Maria was the complete opposite. After their parents divorced, Maria was the one who had to change her last name and move away. She always ended up carrying the worst part of the situation, which slowly made her start hating her sister. Thinking it would make her happier, she tried to become as charming and outgoing as Runa. But even now, she still feels like she's living in her shadow, and that's why she ended up spreading those rumors. Ryuto admits that what she did was wrong, but he also tells her they're actually quite similar. Just like her, he's also introverted and easily affected by what other people think about him. Unlike Runa, who acts completely naturally and always manages to surprise him. But Ryuto tells her that neither of them should try to force themselves to be like Runa. He assures Maria that someday she'll meet someone who will love her exactly the way she is. However, she refuses to listen and asks him to leave her alone. Later, the couple walks back home together. Ryuto confesses that he revealed the secret because he was tired of hearing those rumors. When Runa hears that, she almost starts crying because all of it had been affecting her a lot, but Ryuto reassures her that he never believed any of those rumors and that the past doesn't matter anymore. He also tells her that he knows about Maria. Runa apologizes for never telling him before, but she insists that Maria is actually a good person. So Ryuto decides not to tell her that Maria was the one who spread the rumors. Meanwhile, Maria can't stop thinking about Ryuto's words. She starts developing feelings for him, but she doesn't want to fall in love because that would make her become the second place in her sister's story once again. The next day, Ryuto thinks everyone at school will laugh at him because of what he said yesterday, but surprisingly, everything seems completely normal. Later, Runa tells him that since they've already done things she enjoys, now she wants to do something that he likes. Ryuto admits that he enjoys watching streamers, so the two of them end up watching his favorite streamer together. Ryuto feels like their relationship has reached a whole new level, so he now wants to kiss her, but he doesn't know how to take the first step. Instead of helping him, his friends just get jealous. But during all the chaos, Ryuto suddenly realizes that maybe he should start by simply holding her hand. So he invites her to go to a park, and Runa happily accepts the date. The loser's plan is pretty simple. Take her on a boat ride, wait for her to stumble, and then use that moment to grab her hand. Unfortunately for him, Runa climbs into the boat without needing his help. Ryuto was gonna do it while getting off, but Runa is clearly an independent woman. Ryuto ends up looking unusually serious, which Runa noticed when they were on the boat. She starts thinking he wants to break up with her, but Ryuto quickly tells her that's not it at all. Then he asks if they can go on the boats again, and she agrees without any problem. This time, things are different. Ryuto finally takes the first step and helps her into the boat like a true gentleman. That's when she tells him that she's actually been wanting to hold his hand for a while. So she's really happy that he finally did it. Ryuto admits that he had been dying to do the same thing, and that's when Runa decided it was time to share their first kiss. She says she wants their relationship to become more intimate. So after the ride, they walk together while holding hands, and she asks him to start calling her by her first name from now on. Ryuto couldn't be more nervous. Meanwhile, Runa feels like she's falling more in love with him every single day. At the same time, Maria finally accepts that she has fallen in love with Ryuto, so she decides she'll become just like Runa in order to steal her boyfriend. A few days later, Runa tells Ryuto that the following Saturday will mark their first month together. To celebrate, she wants to go to the beach. At school, Runa shows him her English test results. And once again, we see that Ryuto is still the best student in the class. Because of that, Maria asks him to help her study, but he says he already promised to help Runa. Maria keeps insisting and asks him to give her his phone number. Saturday finally arrives. The couple heads to the beach together, and Ryuto can't believe how beautiful his girlfriend looks. He turns completely red like a tomato. As if that wasn't enough, she asks him to help her apply sunscreen. But he literally has to start thinking about the Bible to lose control. After that, we see them spending the rest of the day together. They eat a ton of food, and later Ryuto tells her that her swimsuit looks really good on her, which makes Runa blush. Later that night, it starts raining really hard. They end up having to spend the night at a hotel. Once they're in the room, both of them decide to take a bath. After a while, Ryuto starts wondering if tonight might finally be the night he becomes a man. Eventually they go to bed, but of course Ryuto can't fall asleep. So Runa asks him if he wants to take the next step. She explains that she doesn't want to make him wait any longer, but she also admits that she's never felt this way about any boyfriend before. She likes Ryuto more every day, and she wants to let those feelings grow even stronger. That way, when they finally do it, it'll feel even more special. So Ryuto tells her it's better if they wait until she feels 100% ready. Even so, that doesn't stop them from sharing their first real hug. The next day, Ryuto walks her home and then heads back to his own place. But on the way, he unexpectedly runs into Yamana. She tells him that Runa has called a 2-month curse. Apparently, every boyfriend she's ever had either cheats or breaks up with her before they reach 2 months together. So even though Runa trusts him, she's probably still worried deep down. That's why Yamana asks Ryuto not to do anything that could hurt her. After that, the protagonist goes home, but suddenly he receives a call from Maria, or at least that's what it looks like at first. But it's actually Runa. She's with Maria at the moment and is calling from Maria's phone because her own phone ran out of battery. She tells him she wants to see him and asks him to come to the school. Once he arrives, Runa suddenly tells him that she wants to take the next step with him. However, the real Runa is actually at home, and the girl standing in front of him is Maria. The moment Ryuto hugs her, he realizes the truth immediately. So it was Maria who called him earlier, and she's so desperate that she literally begs him to sleep with her. She says she just wants Ryuto to look at her, even if it's only once, but he refuses, saying he could never betray Runa. And even if he didn't have a girlfriend, doing something like that still wouldn't be right. Ryuto assumes she's doing all of this just to get revenge on Runa, but Maria confesses that she actually fell in love with him that day. She says she truly wanted to be with him, even though she knows he doesn't feel the same way. She explains that she had never fallen in love before, and being rejected like this hurts more than she expected. Now she understands how he felt that day. Through tears, she apologizes for everything. Then she asks him to at least let her cry on his shoulder. But the next day, things get complicated. Now everyone is talking about Ryuto because someone spread a photo of him hugging Maria. Ryuto assumes Maria is responsible, but she insists she had nothing to do with it. To prove it, she says she'll publicly clarify that nothing happened between them. Right at that moment, Runa finds the two of them together. She ends up learning that Maria is actually the girl who once rejected Ryuto, so she immediately assumes there's something going on between them, and then she runs away. That's when Yamana slaps Ryuto across the face, because in the end, he still managed to hurt Runa. Now Ryuto starts reflecting on everything. He keeps asking himself what he could have done differently to prevent Runa from crying. Eventually, summer vacation arrives. Ryuto spent 2 weeks sending her messages, but she never replied. He even went to her house several times, yet he never found the courage to ring the doorbell. Then one day, he suddenly receives a photo, and along with it, someone tells him where she is. So Ryuto runs there immediately to find her. When he finally arrives, he learns that the man with her is simply her uncle. Yamana didn't want to leave Runa alone, but she has to go to work, and her uncle kindly gives them some privacy. So Ryuto takes the opportunity to explain everything. He tells her that Maria confessed to him and started crying after he rejected her. To his surprise, Runa actually takes it pretty well. She says that Ryuto simply acted like a gentleman by not leaving Maria alone while she was crying. In fact, she always believed Ryuto wasn't the type to cheat. The reason she never answered his messages was because her phone broke the other day. Even so, she feels incredibly happy that he came to see her, even when she hadn't replied to him at all. After that, Runa takes him to her grandmother's house, and she asks him to stay there with her for the rest of the summer, because she wants this summer to become an unforgettable one.